Hey everyone, it's Horror Free for All, and I hope you're doing well today. I have some exciting news that just dropped this morning that I had to make an immediate reaction video for. Luckily, I have today and tomorrow off during the week for some unforeseen things, but hopefully they're for the better. and I got some really exciting news this morning that we're getting a popular R.L. Stine short story and Haunting Hour episode adaptation turned into a full-length feature film on Tubi. If you don't know what Tubi is, it's a streaming network platform that essentially offers free TV and free movies for you to watch, and also has original content for you to watch. And it turns out that R.L. Stine's Pumpkinhead, yes, from the Nightmare Hour short story collection and from the iconic episode from the Haunting Hour TV show, is getting turned into a full-length feature film. Now, it might shock you because there's two things I want to look at for this reaction. The rating of the film, and we'll get into that shortly. But I have a lot to talk about. So this morning, I opened up my Fangoria newsletter, and across the headline, it read, R.L. Stine's Pumpkinhead heads to Tubi for Halloween. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's read into it. And it says in the little blurb below it, Jim Gerard's pick is inspired by Stine's The Haunting Hour. And then it shows some pictures of, I guess, some stills of the movie, because this is the first day that this movie got announced. So there's very limited pictures to use. But I will link the article in the description and in the comment section for you to go look at those if you choose to do so. So the article reads, nothing says creepy season like an R.L. Stine story. So it's exciting news that Tubi Original features R.L. Stine's Pumpkinhead is hitting the streamer on October 17th, just in time for Halloween. This is very bad grammar and it needed some proofreading, but we're going to continue. The director, Jim Gerard from Slay, director Jim Gerard from Slay, R.L. Stine's Pumpkinhead, inspired by Stine's 2003 horror anthology novel, The Haunting Hour, Chills in the Dead of Night. Yeah, that's wrong. It was actually in The Nightmare Hour. Get it right. And it was actually a few years before that. Stars Bean Reed, Adeline Lowe, Kevin McNulty, Bob Frazier, Matty Finocchio, and Seth Isaac Johnston. Never heard of these people, but we'll see how they perform in the movie. The Hollywood Reporter, who dished the streaming news earlier today, reveals an official plot synopsis. R.L. Stine's Pumpkinhead centers on teenage Sam, whose family's moved to Red Haven, and it's made worse when his brother Finn disappears, and no one else remembers that he existed. Sam joins friend Becca and eccentric Rusty in the race to find Finn and break a harvest curse before Halloween ends. So this sounds like they're taking some liberties with the short story already. We're going into a whole plot where, I guess in the short story, there was kids missing, and the siblings in the short story and even in the episode aren't among the missing kids. Now we're having the main character have one of their siblings be one of them. And I guess they're joining the characters from the short story in this adventure. So this sounds kind of fun. Legendary horror novelist Mr. Stine, of Goosebumps and Fear Street fame, had the following to say of another of his iconic tales being brought to the screen. There's something rotten inside these pumpkins, and it isn't pumpkin meat. I'm so happy to see one of my most terrifying Halloween stories brought to the chilling life in this new movie. Very R.L. Stine for him to say something like that. Tubi Chief Content Officer Adam Lewinson adds, R.L. Stine's Pumpkinhead is a playful blend of good fun, big scares with an element of adventure that taps into everything audiences love about Halloween and young adult horror. Okay, so we're turning a kid's horror short story into young adult horror again. Okay, well, we'll see how it goes. We're thrilled to collaborate with the legendary Master of Fear, R.L. Stine, as part of our growing slate of YA storytelling that bridges generations and delivers fresh, genre-driven entertainment. Okay, we'll see how that plays out. Maybe this could start a new Tubi R.L. Stine partnership and carry the torch that I guess Zombie Town started a few years ago with the world of R.L. Stine. I'm kind of excited. We'll see how this movie performs. R.L. Stine's Pumpkinhead is executive produced by Gerard alongside James Montagne, Joan Maricha, Harvey Kahn, Yvonne Bernard, Dan Bernard, Alan Lewis, and Rama Diallo. Check it out on Tubi from October 17th. Okay, that's pretty promising news. This is all that we know so far. But the next set of information that I wanted to tack on here is from IMDb. They put out an exclusive called R.L. Stine's Pumpkinhead movie lands October release. And I'm also going to put a link to this in the description and in the comment section down below because this is really interesting. Now, it gives information that we saw already previously shared in the Fangoria article, which I think got theirs from The Hollywood Reporter. But at the bottom, it says something very interesting. It says, R.L. Stine's Pumpkinhead, courtesy of Tubi. R. This is going to be R-rated? We're turning a kid's horror short story that was turned into a relatively scary episode adaptation, which was for, like, you know, kids and teens on the Haunting Hour TV show. But now we're just going full-blown rated R with it? I'm assuming that there's going to be some cursing in the movie, quite a lot to kind of help warrant that rating. I'm assuming that there's going to be some gore, some deaths possibly shown on screen, stuff like that. Maybe some violence to warrant that. But I would have thought that this would have been PG-13, you know, because this is R.L. Stine, right? But I guess them going full-blown rated R with it, I'm hoping this is a light R, where it's like, you know, these little things just added up to put it there. But I'm curious to see why this movie would be rated R. You know what I mean? It feels kind of overkill. And, you know, it kind of makes me think that this could either end up really good if they want to double down on the horror of the short story counterpart, or it can end up really cheesy and bad if they're trying to overdo it. You know what I mean? So here's my thoughts. And I guess to wrap up my reaction to this news, I love that R.L. Stine is getting his short stories and his books turned into movies. I know a lot of people are upset that Goosebumps isn't getting this similar treatment. Some people are probably like, why don't we get Welcome to Dead House turned into a movie? Why don't we get Stay Out of the Basement, The Haunted Mask, One Day at Horrorland? I'd rather see that than something like Pumpkinhead. Yo, I get you. I get you. But if we're going to get like PG-13 or I guess R-rated movies based on R.L. Stine short stories or books out there, it should be the ones that are scary and have the horror chops to do so. If you're going to spend money on something, make something like this and not Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes. So, yeah, I've never seen anything from Jim Gerard. I did look at their filmography, and to be honest, there's a lot of stuff in there that I just don't care to see. And I'm going to be honest, this can go either way, I feel. You know, I'm trying to be optimistic going into it, but because they're going the whole YA trajectory with this, I'm assuming that there's probably going to be some romance involved with some characters and love triangles possibly inserted, you know, or something cliche and corny like that. Look, I'm kind of bruised from the Goosebumps 2023 show. I'm full-blown expecting this going into this. But at the very least, this looks like it's a dark, gritty movie from the photos that we were able to see of it. Looks like there's actual prosthetic effects and not CGI at play here. Don't know anything about the story other than the brief synopsis. I don't know how the character performances are going to go. But from the stuff that I've seen from Tubi, at least in terms of original horror, they have been putting out some really good stuff. Maybe not the most memorable things ever, but they put out some revisitable movies that you can watch over and over again. And I'm hoping that if this movie's a success, we can continue to get R.L. Stine stories brought to the big screen. If you're out there, Tubi, and you have a success on your hands with this, do not make a sequel to Pumpkinhead. Do not do it. Look to other R.L. Stine books like The Creatures from Beyond, or something like that, where it's just dark, it could be violent, adventurous, something like that, to carry the torch. And you don't have to keep making rated R movies if you want. You can go PG, PG-13. I think that that's what they're trying to do. I think Tubi's trying to expand their audience and bring in more young adult and kid family-friendly content. Arnold Stine is the perfect candidate for that. If Sony wanted to maybe partner up with Tubi, that would be cool, because then we can get Goosebumps brought into the mix. I highly doubt it, though, because Sony probably wants to take it to the theaters. But maybe if Sony doesn't want to make movies, but they want to produce a TV show, that could be something lucrative for them. I don't know. I don't know how the Tubi model works, but obviously they've been running for a long time, and they run the free-to-stream platform, and they've been successful enough to produce their own content out of it. So it's a proof of concept that you do not have to go the Netflix route to be able to produce things that people want to see. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm curious. I don't know how this is going to land with the community, given that this is, I think, going to be a R-rated adaptation of a kid's horror short story, which we'll see how that goes. But yeah, let me know down in the comment section if you saw this news or if you heard it from me. What's your thoughts about this? Are you excited for this movie? Like I said, go check out the links I'm going to put down in the comment section and in the description about where you can find this information on Fangoria and IMDb. And yeah, let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, take care and stay spooky.